Alright, what up YouTube? This is my story. If you ever wondered who the heck am I, may I suggest that you get cozy because it's about to be a long story. Alright, let's get right into it. Let's start from the very beginning. I was born and raised in Virginia, not LA and not New York City. So what was I like as a kid? I was super funny, I was the class clown, and I was placed into the gifted and talented program, and against my will, into the honors program. But how I like to remember myself is as the troublemaker. I was always doing pranks and making the whole class laugh. That was me. Let's fast forward to the good stuff. In middle school, that's when the age of the internet was on the rise. So that's the early 2000s. When the internet was getting popular, that's when I got my feet wet by starting up a Zynga. Many of y'all won't even know what I'm talking about when I say Zynga. But Zynga back then was an online community where you got to share your blog. It was kind of like a journal or a diary entry where you shared with the world. Now when I started the Zynga, I was like in 5th or 6th grade. And funny enough, I was the top 20 or 50 bloggers of the world. It's really weird to think about. But as an 11-year-old, I was already pretty popular on the internet. I remember whenever I wrote an article or a journal entry, it would get thousands of e-props and kudos. And when I think about it, my blogs weren't even that interesting. It was about my daily life as a 6th grader or as a 7th grader. Like, how interesting was that? It really wasn't, but after my Zynga phase, I started flirting with YouTube very early on. As a matter of fact, I started YouTube in 2005 with a channel called Babu Quapos. And I carried over what I was doing on Zynga, but through the video format. So I was talking about my life as a middle schooler and high schooler, but talking directly to the camera instead of typing. And that Babu Guapos YouTube channel, it gathered quite a following. It was not bad, it was half decent for a little high schooler. So in high school, I used my YouTube experience of video producing and talking in front of the camera to become the high school news anchor, and I made the morning announcements, and I was the guy that spoke to the school. And fast forward to the end of high school, I ultimately made a decision to delete all of my social media because I decided to go to VMI, the Virginia Military Institute, in order to become a commissioned officer. And because I decided to join the military, I didn't want any extra attention following me. Because I already knew that I was gonna be an anomaly. Because I'm a minority, I'm a freaking Asian face. Most officers are Caucasian, and here I am, an Asian dude. It's gonna be hard enough to blend in. But to bring an internet buzz with me, that would not be in the best of my interest. I would probably get more attention. And as I progressed through my training in the military, deep down I was still passionate about being in front of the camera. So after my rat year at VMI, which is freshman year, I decided to make YouTube videos again. Now mind you that I was still a cadet at VMI when I decided to make these videos. Now VMI is as close as you get to a prison-like environment without being an actual prison. There's rules upon rules, curfew, everybody dresses, looks, talks the same, and it's like an orderly fashion. Now as a cadet being there, I was making YouTube videos and being different. Dare to be different. And it was a very weird feeling because very early on, I knew that I was different from most cadets. First of all, I never marched a single penalty tour, which is a PT, in my entire cadetship, which means I never got in trouble. I was very liberal in my ideology. And believe it or not, I was not into guns at all. And I can name probably 2 brother rats, which are classmates, that were similar to me. Everybody else was exactly the same, very conservative, loves guns, YouTube. Who makes YouTube videos? And so when I reflect and look back, I was a military man by day, but a silly YouTube video creator at night. Because I love creating content. Now fast forward through my cadetship at VMI, I eventually commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the United States Army as an infantry officer. And then I did the whole military officer thing. And then afterwards, I packed up my bags and I moved to Korea in pursuit of a childhood dream of mine of being an entertainer. And things went pretty well for me in the realm of acting and modeling. And if I was younger, oh my gosh, I totally would have gone into the training pipeline to become a K-pop idol. But unfortunately, I was a little old and I was above the average age of training, so I decided, what's the best avenue of approach for me to make a splash on the scene of the entertainment world? And I said, well, I could model, I'm tall, and I can act, not bad. All right, that's the route I'll go with. But the bad news is that around that same time frame, that's when I stumbled upon religion. And here's my quick disclaimer. If you're religious, do you, boo-boo, but let's coexist, fam. All right, no hard feelings, nothing against you. But this is my experience with religion and why I feel the way I do towards it. And when I stumbled upon religion, that's when I lost my dang mind. I went crazy, like cuckoo, and I became religious. And I became religious in the bad way, in every single sense. And because I became religious, I said, I don't want to fulfill my childhood dream of being an entertainer. Instead, I'm gonna go do religious things. And so stupid me decided to pack up my bags and leave Korea where things were picking up and going well for me. I decided to leave Korea to go back to America to join a priest community or a training center to become like a priest. And while I was being trained, I became very close-minded, conservative, and religion guided my every move. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Now hold up, wait a minute. WTF? What are you doing, Amos? I know what you're thinking, I know what you're saying, and it took me a really long time to wake out of it and to snap out of my spell. Sadly, it took me a bit of time to realize what was going on and to realize that this whole religion thing wasn't for me. You see, I learned that religion can be cool and that it teaches people to help others and whatnot. But I also learned that religion can be super hateful and hurtful. And that's not what I'm all about. And I didn't want religion to guide my personal compass, my moral system. And I feel silly because I gave permission, I allowed religion to shape my views, and ultimately it made me feel less human because I wasn't thinking for myself, but rather I was allowing something else to tell me what to do and to how to walk or talk, and it just wasn't Amos anymore. And so when I snapped out of my religious spell, first and foremost, I felt super apologetic to everyone, especially the people in my social circle, and especially you guys, my viewers. And the reason why I felt so sorry was because when I became religious, I turned into Judge Judy, and I looked down on others, and the way I thought and felt towards others was not exactly kind. And it took me a while to forgive myself for turning into such a monster. And eventually, after I forgave myself and I moved past that, I stopped allowing myself to feel bad and to stop feeling stupid and to pick myself back up from the dirt. And I said to myself, look, Amos, let's look at the bright side of this. Yes, you wasted some time of your life at this priest training center in order to become a religious person, but now you're not. But let's look at the bright side. It's located right next to LA. And what else is located right next to LA? The entertainment industry of America, Hollywood. By the way, before I go any further, I want to just sincerely apologize to you if I ever offended you, if I ever said something that was hurtful or anything in that manner or sense. I am sorry. I did not mean it. I take it back. Forgive me, please. I'm thinking correctly now with my own head, and I realize the stuff that I said and did was wrong. I am not that religious guy anymore. I am back to loving all humans, not just those who think like me, but to all humans, accepting everyone, being open-minded, and being a liberal again. I am back to doing the right thing. I am no longer religious, nor am I sympathetic to any religion. That's all in my past, and it's safe to say that I'm normal again. I'm a liberal, I love people, and I just want to do the right thing now. Alright, so are we good? Can we move on? I hate dwelling on the past. Please don't hold grudges. Please forgive me. Okay? Can we move on? Can we get back to the topic? Back to the story? Alright, so when I woke up from my spell, I realized, alright, let's look at the bright side. What are the pros of this situation? Number one, alright, you're in the backyard of LA. You're literally next to the Hollywood industry. And so I set my eyes towards Hollywood. And so I decided to make a name for myself in Hollywood. So I auditioned for some roles, got cast in some small projects, and I acted in some stuff, believe it or not. But at the same time, there's another roadblock coming up. My health started deteriorating fast. And when I say fast, I mean boom. I woke up one day and I was like, oh, I feel 120 years old. Things weren't so great. And I made a video explaining just that, what happened to my health. And you can watch that video by clicking up at the thingy. I don't know if it's on this corner or this corner, or you can click the link that's in the description box. And so when my physical health started deteriorating, I had to pump the brakes on Hollywood, and it took months for me to just focus on my health to get better again. And as I spent time off from acting and doing anything in front of the camera, I had a lot of time to reflect and to think. And I decided that this time around, when I come back, I'm not gonna do Hollywood. You know, I realized YouTube is my true love. It's my first love, right, of being in front of the camera. Obviously, Zango was, but I wasn't in front of the camera then. Just in case someone out there wants to be a smarty pants and talk about the semantics, okay? My first love, YouTube. I decided when I come back, I'm gonna come back on YouTube, the platform where I can create what I want to create and where I can do what I want to do. And so I decided, nah, not Hollywood, but instead on YouTube. And the most frustrating thing is every single time I felt okay enough or semi-healthy enough to make a video for YouTube, boom, I got sick really bad. And so I had to postpone my plans for many months. But here we are today. I feel I'm not 100%, but I'm not gonna allow a little bit of a runny nose and whatnot to hold me back. And that brings us to today. I started YouTube when I was 11 or 12 years old, and I'm now 27. I literally grew up with YouTube, and some of y'all grew up with me. Isn't that crazy when you think about it like that? And it's been a long road. My interests changed a lot. My hobbies are different, and luckily, I grew 11 inches since then. My views are more mature, and I gathered them from life experiences. I changed a lot. At 18 years old, I truly thought that I was going to be someone completely different. Then at 25, 26, that changed again when I thought I was going to be a priest. And so low-key, I'm jealous of the people that can stay on the same path that they sought out for themselves at age 13, 14, 15, 16. And they stayed there and they're there. You know, the ones that are like, in middle school, they're like, I'm gonna be a doctor when I grow up. And then they become a doctor and then they're happy. But that wasn't the case for me. I took a lot of detours, a lot of wrong turns, and I drove off the bridge in life many times. I've done so many things in life, I've experienced so many different occupations that I feel awkward. At one point in my life, I was a model, I was an actor, I was an officer, I was a teacher, I was a theology student training to become a priest, I was a consultant, and etc. and etc. But that's all in the past now. I'm moving forward to better days and to being more open-minded again. But that's all in the past now. I'm moving forward to better days and being open-minded. And not going down the rabbit hole of anything weird again, like religion. But you know, at the same time, I'm thankful for everything that happened because others, especially you guys that are watching, you can learn from my mistakes. Others, I'm sure, they looked at me and they were like, ooh, and I'm sure they learned from me. And I was able to grow from all the lessons that life threw at me. I grew from every single one of them. So let's conclude this video and let's talk about the lessons that you can take away from this video. Number one, religion made me a poo-poo head and made me legit stupid. I stopped thinking for myself and I became kind of like a robot and I wasn't as nice as I thought I was. And number two, the military made me very disciplined and it taught me how to take responsibility for my actions. And number three, this amazing platform that you're using right now to watch this, YouTube, allowed me to share my journey and experiences with the world through everything, through all of my changes, through all of my growth, and through it all. And the bottom line is this, Everyone makes mistakes, especially with choices in life. And in my case, instead of staying a prisoner of my past, I learned from my mistakes and I grew from the life's lessons I experienced, I changed, and I'm a better guy today because I now know better. I'm not perfect, so I know I'm still gonna slip up from time to time. But the best part is that I'm gonna grow through it all. It's a matter of perspective. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me today, Internet Neighbor. I'll talk to you next time.